we all know where, you know, like Ryu and Akuma and Kin, how that works, right? Basically, it's energy or chi, right, channeled into, a fireball and then shot at your opponent, right? Which is pretty basic because you see it in other anime as well, and and for the most part, it's pretty similar all around. Even Chun Li has about like kind of the same thing going on with her moves, um, and and I think the origins are the same too. I think in the animated series, I think in order for Ryu to um, even start using the Hadoken, he has to go to China and learn from I believe Chun Li's father or something. Oh no, or his teacher. I forgot who it was, but because I hadn't seen it in a long time ago. But the point is, it's the same type of power. It's the same source, which is chi power or the energy from your body or whatever. Um, and but when it comes to psycho power, if you look it up online, um, it says that it's a spiritual power. So it's much more, I guess, you say paranormal in a sense, or even psychological, which some people might think the paranormal is, fairly psychological as well. If you think about it, because a lot of these paranormal activities do affect the psyche, meaning people start to, fear for their lives or move out of places where they think it could be haunted or anything or something like that. And I remember at the beginning when I was trying to figure out who I was gonna main, um, and when I took the quiz, they said I should main JP and I think modern JP or whatever. And at first I was hesitant. I was like, don't really mess with characters with psycho power. Um, and um, and I kind of left it at that. But so I did a little bit of research and looked at his moves and stuff like that. The interesting thing about his moves is that it seems like people are coming out of his staff. Like when he does his moves, um, and even at the beginning, I remember people were saying, "Oh, is that Bison coming out of his staff?" Like it looks like Bison comes out of his staff and hits somebody, and people were saying, "Oh, that's the spirit of Bison," or that's this another spirit that he conceals in his staff, and that kind of stuff. It's in the magical realm, in the paranormal even realm, rather than in the more chi power type of realm. But it's kind of vague online. It just says it's a spiritual power. Some say that it's an evil power. But then if you keep reading, it says that it's not necessarily evil. That it's just that the people that use it just tend to be evil. Um, case in point, Bison, who by the way is surprisingly very fun, and he's now my new main, or my co-main next to JP, and Rashid, he's now my probably like my third guy that I play, but I haven't played him in so long now that it's like I'm kind of moving to the dark side, I guess. But the good thing is that online. It says that psycho power isn't evil in itself. You know, it just so seems that the people that use it um, tend to be evil. And it explains on there that Rose also has the same power. Now, if you look at Rose, she's a card reader, right? So again, it's in the same magical type of realm, kind of, to do more with like spirituality and things like that. So so that's where their power comes from. So I thought it was just very interesting to explore it like that. Um, but and now the good side of psycho power is called soul power, if I'm not mistaken. Soul power, which allows you to infuse things with your soul energy, and then you could fight with it, which I think that's what Rose does with her like cape that she has, or like scarf. Um, and someone like Bison, who is very interesting, and I learned a lot more about him in World Tour mode. Um, he was actually taught psycho power, which I thought that it was something that you just got naturally, or something that was infused into in a scientific way, which is how Bison does it to most of his subjects, most of his test subjects, and like for example, Ed and stuff like that. But it turns out that it can be taught, and not only that, but it can be passes down, meaning you could like touch somebody and give it to. I'm sorry about that. I got interrupted. But you see examples of this, passing down of power, or um, infusing someone with psycho power. Sorry about that. Something in the background. Um, with JP does it. When you train under him, he literally gives you some psycho power. And the thing is, some people can't handle the psycho power, and they go crazy, or stuff like that. Um, but the best way I can, because when you talk about like chi, and you talk about what Ryu and Ken is doing and Akuma is doing, you can kind of see what they're talking about. And it's a little, I'm not even gonna say it's that realistic either, but it's a little bit realistic, because you can focus your energy and do stuff like that, but not necessarily throw fireballs. But you can, you know there is things that people practice that works on that, on chi and energy and stuff like that. um but this stuff, it gets a little bit more, I guess you could say, fake, but not necessarily, because um if you think about it, if you read what it says online, I think it's called Hadoken.com or something like that, where it's everything fighting game related. And if you read that, it kind of explains that it's like, the reason it's called psycho power, because it's more like a psychological effect that these people use, almost like psychological powers to either rile themselves up, or infect other people in a way to where they lose focus or something like that. That's kind of what I understand from it, which is a real thing in fights, in sports, and anything like that. It's, you can either pump yourself up psychologically to be better, be faster, be stronger, or you can also attack another person psychologically, and that's acting like you're magic, or acting like you're, or actually believe in it, and that also infects other people, and starts to cause fear or panic in other people. And we've seen it happen, in sports, in boxing. We saw what happened with Ali versus Frazier. How he got into his head. He started calling him, big gorilla, and that he was ugly, that he couldn't be the champion. And in the realm of sports, you can attack people psychologically in that way, and then weaken them to the point to where when you get in the ring and actually fight, you have half of the battle won. Even though Ali did lose that fight, um, the psychological toll that Frazier took in that fight, haunted him for the rest of his life. You could you could go look at interviews of him way past his boxing days, and he's always talking about how he hated Ali and that Ali treated him bad and this, that, and the other. So I'm thinking, that's more where psycho power comes from, and where a soul power comes from, or what they're trying to portray in Street Fighter when it comes to this type of power. Um, and as you can see, guys, I did um, mess around with World Tour and with my avatar character, and made um, kind of like a bad guy type character, so that I could join the forces with Shadow Lu and stuff. And I really enjoyed Bison style. Like I said, I'm really enjoying him. I'm really being successful with him, um, more than with other characters. Now, and that's the other reason why I began to investigate more about Psycho Power, because part of me was like, man, I'm joining the dark side or whatever, or does this mean I'm evil? Stuff like that people think about sometimes, which is not really that important. It's just a game, but it was just something that interested me more. Um, knowing more about Psycho Power, and was it possible for someone um, to be a good guy using Psycho Power? And the answer is, of course, yes. Um, and three examples that they used. One of them was Rose, who I already mentioned. Ed, and the Ed's twin. I forgot her name, but she came out of Street Fighter Five. I never really played with her. But those are the three main examples to where you could see where somebody can use Psycho Power, but use it in a good way rather um, than a bad way. And by the way, guys, when I made this suit for um, for my avatar, like literally like 2 days later or something like that, Street Fighter 6 came out with their new pass, where they have a where is it, where they have a character. Oh, that's a drawing that I made. They have a character that's just like, well, not just like, well, way better than what I made, but he has like a mask and everything. So that's really what I was trying to do. I was trying to make a guy who kind of does, he's like the main, not the main, he's like one of, how can I explain it, he's like the right hand or something, or like the hand of the boss or something. That's what I wanted to create with my avatar. But then literally like a couple of days later, they come up with this suit here, um and it's pretty cool, which is kind of similar. I'm not saying it's exactly the same thing, but it's kind of similar to what I was doing with this. By the way, I know his hand looks broken in my sketch, but it's similar to what I was doing with this character here. um and of course, I know it does look a little bit like Skullomania from Street Fighter EX. And also, guys, another thing I wanted to mention was the similarities with like, well, I mean, I did say there was like in the spiritual, almost paranormal realm. So that also includes, demons. That's how they work as well. They start to attack you psychologically, a little by little. Right. So if you see a lot of these paranormal cases, you will see some of them try to befriend maybe like a young child or something, and then little by little begin to scare them, sometimes it's different. It's like something will move in your house, and then you kind of leave it alone or whatever. But if you're not affected by that, you know nothing will happen, right? But the whole point is they're trying to um, affect you psychologically. You know, that's which is, it's kind of like, for example, when it just gets my attention because when Bison, like, his hand kind of gets goes out of control and then he hits it, right? It's almost like there's a demon in his hand. Like, and I always thought that, and then when I started reading into Psycho Power, it's like, I mean, it could be because that's kind of the way they work. You know, kind of the way all this stuff works. All of this, like, paranormal realm, even witchcraft, and I mean, Rose is literally what, a tarot reader or something like that. So yeah, I just thought I should mention that too, because just a lot of it just seems like, for example, JP, he looks like a wizard, the guy. You know, um, and at the beginning when we didn't know anything about it, we used to say, like, in the community would say, okay, he has the trap souls in his staff or something. So, um, so yeah, there's definitely something. Psycho Power is definitely way more on the paranormal side, and we're way more on the even on the magical side of things. Um, and But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it for today, guys. Please let me know what you guys think. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.